There is such a big difference between satire and threats, between uh, making people fear for their safety in their workplace and questioning in a civilized way whether or not their work, particularly in the political sphere, is valid. I think there's many reasons for questioning and lampooning the former Home Office Secretary Priti Patel. I think there's many reasons. I think there's many reasons for doing the same to Theresa May and certainly the present incumbent. But the moment they cease to be Secretary of State, really a lot of the political pressure disappears, a lot of the satire disappears, and I certainly would be very interested to know more about what motivated them, why they embarked on this or that particular project or decision. I was horrified, really, to hear the story of a 65-year-old NHS worker, uh, Pooneeraj Canakiah, who sent a letter to Priti Patel, which was loaded with threats and insinuations. And it really makes very difficult reading. And I think a line was clearly crossed. He said, "Your time is coming to an end. Be prepared. We will get you. We will get you. We will tear you to pieces. If we don't get you, we will wait. We will wait." The letter was rightly intercepted before it got to Priti Patel. And then the letter went on to detail intimacy between Priti Patel and Boris Johnson when she was Home Secretary. It's been described as disgusting, threatening, offensive, vulgar, and the judge said that members of Parliament had a right to feel safe at work. I absolutely agree. But then we also heard about this particular man's health. He's been working for the NHS for 42 years. He had a particularly difficult time during COVID. He suffered 2 heart attacks and depression and has been struggling with mental health. And the judge doesn't seem to think much of that has an impact, and has handed down a 5 months prison sentence with the demand that he serves half of that time before being released on license. As I say, I think it's terribly, terribly sad. And it's a great shame that he, as I say, crossed that line between political discussion, political invective, satirical comment, and what was clearly threatening and malicious correspondence. As I say, I think Priti Patel has many things to explain, many things to explain. But those can be done so much more easily over a cup of tea and a smile, and I'm quite sure that this particular man would have benefited greatly from that meeting and from that reassurance. And I think equally, Miss Patel would have benefited from meeting somebody who is who's clearly very disturbed by the activities of the present government, and found that they reached some sort of head. I think people really need to talk. People need to talk. And I think our present government has got into a habit, and current officials have got into a habit of pushing people away with false words which mean nothing. And instead of quietening a problem, they seem to be exacerbating it. It's not an excuse for uh, somebody to write something appalling, but I hope it sort of explains why we see such a build up of frustration in our country. We see people who do not seem to take responsibility for their actions, and instead of dealing directly with these people, we're sent off to complaints departments and so on. So much more can be solved with a cup of tea. So much more. And in the case of somebody who is clearly um, unstable, I think so much more can be done with kindness than with the full weight of the law. So I'm sorry on so many levels that this story has emerged. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry for Miss Patel, and I'm deeply sorry for Pooneeraj, and that it got to this stage.